Hello, everyone. I'm going to give just a minute to let a few more people join, and then we will get started this afternoon. I hope everyone's having a great Thursday. All right. Welcome everyone. My name is Carmen and I am the training coordinator at the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple SBDC helps small businesses start and grow. We provide free one-on-one counseling and a variety of low to no cost webinars. And we are proud to be a part of the national network of accredited SBDCs with over 1,000 centers across the United States. You have joined us this afternoon for free library digital resources to help your business. A copy of the PowerPoint and a link to the recording of this webinar will be sent out to all attendees. All attendees have been muted, and we are asking for people to hold their questions off until the end of the presentation, but we will get through all of those. Just if you have a question, feel free to type it in the chat or the Q&A. And now I will turn the floor over to Birch.
Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear? Oh, you're all muted, so you can't talk, but I assume everyone can hear me okay. My name is Birch. Thank you for coming to the webinar, Free Library Digital Resources to Help Your Business. So this is basically going to be a virtual tour of the Business Resource Innovation Center, or BRIC for short. I'll often refer to it as BRIC or the BRIC. My name is Birch Mezzaroba. I'll be teaching today's webinar. And I'm going to be giving you an overview of the BRIC's resources and services available for business owners and entrepreneurs. We're going to be covering quite a bit of information over the next hour. But at the end of the presentation, I'll tell you some ways that you can further learn on your own or work with us to dive deeper into some of these topics. I encourage you all to explore our website, freelibrary.org/business, after class, and to email me if you have any questions. And I'll post you'll see the link to the website will be at the end of the presentation, which you will all be getting the presentation after the presentation is over. So once again, my name is Birch. How do I get to the next slide? 1 second. There we go. Okay. My name is Birch. My pronouns are they, them, and I am the business services librarian here at the BRIC. I've been here since I started at the library back in March of 2023. So the Business Resource and Innovation Center is actually a physical space at Parkway Central Library. We're a department. We opened back in April of 2019. And this is a collaborative co-working open in space, no sound restrictions. I mean, you can't be screaming, but we encourage collaboration. So you could use inside voices. We have meeting rooms, comfortable furniture, and free Wi-Fi, and lots of outlets. So first things first, before we get started with anything, I have a very important question for everyone. Do you have a library card? If not, that's okay. I'm not mad. You can get one today if you want, actually, right after this presentation is over. You'll need a library card to access all of the databases I'm going to talk about. So I definitely recommend getting one if you don't have one already. I'm seeing a lot of yeses in the chat, which is very exciting. You can get a virtual library card on the Free Library's website. So if you go to freelibrary.org and click Get a Library Card on the top right side of the page, you can get a library card that way. This link will be at the same spot on the top right hand of every freelibrary.org webpage. Library cards are available to anyone who lives, works, or goes to school in Philadelphia. Alternatively, if you don't live in Philly, but you live in the state, you can also get a library card for free. Virtual cards need to be verified within 60 days. Or if you want a physical card, you can just come to one of the 54 branch locations and get one. All you need is a photo ID proving that you live in Pennsylvania. Okay, so now that that is out of the way, let's jump into what we all came here to talk about, business resources and services, specifically digital resources. In the BRIC, we serve business owners and entrepreneurs with guided research instruction, classes, events, office hours with experts, specialized databases, and much more. The Business Resource Innovation Center is a unique space for entrepreneurs in Philadelphia because it's staffed with professional librarians. So most organizations for entrepreneurs in Philly, like Temple Small Business, are, business professionals. We're not, we're librarians. We are the only publicly funded business librarians in the city, so please use us like the unique resource that we are. It's important to note that we're librarians, not business professionals. So we're not giving you advice on what to do with your business, any consulting. You go to Temple Small Business Development Center for that. But what we do is we focus on curating resources. So what that means, it can be really overwhelming to dive into business research or to try and slog through all of the amazing resources that the city of Philadelphia has for business owners. We pride ourselves on asking you questions to better arrive at the services that you need, whether they're at the library or not. So we can help you get the help that you need, whether you know you need that help or not. We also focus on developing programs. So these can be classes on using free library databases. These can be programs taught by experts outside of the library on things that are outside of our expertise, like marketing or advertising or something like that. We also teach research skills. So we teach folks how to use our databases to gather data for your business plan or your growth plans. Basically, we're really into data and we can help you get the information that you need for your business. So our collection is both digital and print. I know we're here today to talk about our digital resources, but I would be remiss not to mention our print collection as well. We are a library. We do have books, but I'll start with our digital resources. You can see them all listed here. I'm going to go through and talk about each one individually. But basically, these databases and resources are geared toward helping you write your business plan. So including all the research aspects like competitive analysis, demographic research, and market research. Our databases can also be helpful for compiling sales lists. We have a small, highly curated collection of print books and periodicals available on site here at the BRIC. Our book collection covers topics from marketing to HR to finance and much, much more. We also have a collection of books pertaining to nonprofits or intellectual property. So, like I said, if you have a library card, you can access all of our databases remotely. You don't have to be on site in a library. You can access them all via the website freelibrary.org/business. And that link is going to be, it's all over the place. You're going to see it in this presentation. You're going to see it in the resource guide that you get after the class is over. So don't worry about remembering it or writing it down if you don't want to. But from freelibrary.org/business, you're going to find all the resources I'm going to tell you about, including some other things like sample business plans and templates and worksheets that might be helpful. But once you're on that page, you scroll all the way down until you see the heading Databases and Digital Resources. Then you click that red hyperlink, and it'll bring you to our databases page. Notice it automatically filters the databases by subject, business, and entrepreneurs. Those 11 databases in that list are all of the databases that have anything to do with business research or entrepreneurship. You could also, from this page, if you got rid of the subject filter, you could see all of the digital resources that the library has. And when you click on a link, it'll prompt you to put in your library card credentials and everything so you can access the database. Okay, so now you know how to get a library card, you know how to get to the databases, and you know what the BRIC is. So now that we got all that covered, we're going to talk about our research areas. So in the BRIC, we break business research into 3 major topics. Market research or industry research, we kind of use those terms interchangeably. Demographic research and competitive analysis. These are the 3 core topics that librarians can offer guidance on. Additionally, we also offer resources and support to entrepreneurs with business planning and with compiling sales lists. Remember, this webinar is meant to just be an introduction to these research areas, not an exhaustive class. Each research area is actually its own class, which you can find on our YouTube library, which I'll tell you about a little bit later. But basically, don't stress about trying to remember all of this information right now. We're just getting started. So the first kind of research I'm going to talk about today is market research. Market research or industry research is provides you with forecasting information, trends, opportunities, and challenges within your industry. So the goal of market research is to get your finger on the pulse of your industry and become an expert in it, so you understand the ecosystem in which your business is existing. In the BRIC, we subscribe to 3 major market research databases, and I'm going to tell you about them. Please note that when I say industries, I'm talking about broad industries. So for example, restaurants, full service restaurants are an industry group. So if you are opening a barbecue joint, you're going to be doing research on full service restaurants, not barbecue joints. It's a bit broader than that. So the first database we're going to talk about today is called Emergent Intellect First Research. Emergent Intellect is actually a collection of databases, and First Research is just the collection's market research aspect. So personally, this is my favorite database for conducting market research. I always recommend folks start here when they're beginning market research because it's a very straightforward and easy to navigate resource. You can search for industries based on keywords or NAICS codes. For those who don't know, a NAICS code stands for North American Industry Classification System, and it is a standard created and used by the federal government for the purpose of collecting, analyzing, and publishing statistical data related to the U.S. business economy. So Emergent Intellect, it's a very searchable resource, and it looks basically what you wish a Google search for your industry would look like. It includes information on over 1,000 industries, and you can find information on financial forecasting, trends, opportunities, issues, and challenges facing your industry. It also links directly to related industries. So if your business is kind of straddling the line between some industries, this could be helpful for that as well. The info in Emergent Intellect can be really helpful for putting together a SWOT analysis. That's a part of your business plan. If you don't know, it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And although a SWOT analysis is made specifically for your business, this kind of gives you a SWOT analysis like for the industry as a whole, which can help you think about your own SWOT analysis. Another section I want to highlight about Emergent Intellect is a section called Call Prep Questions, which is kind of a silly name, but it's a really helpful tool. It offers sample questions and answers to topics that are unique for each industry. So these are questions about pricing, operations, facilities, customers, marketing, competition, tons of topics. And these are questions that potential stakeholders in your business would be interested to know the answer to. And they're giving you short answers, but it at least gets you thinking about the questions that you might be asked and how you might begin to answer those. So the next database I'm going to tell you about is called Gale Business Insights Global. This is another market research database. This database offers a more traditional reference style. It's pretty encyclopedic. It includes articles pulled from ebooks, academic journals, and trade journals. That's notable because a lot of the articles you would find in this database would otherwise be behind a paywall. So you're getting access to free, up-to-date, like trending, what's the word I'm looking for? Information about industries and businesses. This database also has info on large publicly traded companies. So this info includes SWOT reports for companies, market rankings, and just general news. You can also access industry studies and business news by industry. And this is aggregated by Gale, which, if you don't know, Gale is a top library information provider, very reliable source. A lot of the library's resources come through Gale. And the last market research database that we have is called D&B Global Business Browser. So this is our most advanced market research tool. Like Emergent Intellect First Research, it also provides general market research information, such as news, industry information, and details. But the thing that sets this database apart, D&B, the thing that sets it apart from the other two is that it has these detailed market research reports. So it has professionally published market research reports, such as Fredonia Focus, MarketLine, and RMA industry norms. And those are things that are normally behind a paywall. So you have access to these professionally published market research reports about these broad industries. I'm going to show you, this is a screenshot from the Fredonia Focus report for the restaurant industry. So if you look at the table of contents, you can see just how much content is covered within this 40-ish page report. I also included a screenshot of the highlights page, so you can see the like things that it considers, highlights of the Fredonia Focus, the things that it is mentioning within that research report. Keep in mind these reports are only available for large major industries. So if you have if you're in a smaller niche industry, you might not be able to find one for your industry. But they can still be really helpful if you are in an industry that has one. Okay, so that was market research. That is usually where folks begin in their business research journey. It's good to go into business planning knowing the state of your industry. The next kind of research I'm going to talk about is demographic research. Personally, I think demographic research is really fun because you get to see just how much information about people exists out there that is like accessible. It's a little scary sometimes because you see all this information about your friends and family in these databases, but it is also pretty fascinating. The BRIC provides access to two major demographic research resources, and these are to help you locate your target audience. So you can use this information to build on your market research and decide how and where you will reach and market to your potential customers. So the first database we're going to talk about in regards to demographic research is called Reference Solutions. Reference Solutions is like Merchant Intellect in that it is a collection of databases. So the one in Reference Solutions that we use for demographic research is called Consumers/Lifestyles and New Movers/Homeowners. So there's two main databases that we use for demographic research. Reference Solutions as a whole, as like a suite of databases, really is a powerhouse of information. I find myself using it constantly in my own reference work here at the library as a librarian. I really can't recommend it enough as a tool for small business owners who are doing their own business research. What it essentially does is build lists for you. So you pick criteria, and from that criteria, it will generate a list that fits your criteria. I'll show you a screenshot of what the list looks like in, I think, the next slide. But like I said, for the purpose of demographic research, we use consumers/lifestyles and new movers/homeowners. Roughly 70% of the US population is in these databases. It's a little bit higher in urban areas, so it might be closer to 80% of Philadelphia is in the database. So this is a hyper-local tool that's going to reveal details on cities and neighborhoods, like down to a zip code level. Using the advanced search feature, which I always recommend, it does have a quick search feature, which is only really helpful if you're looking for like a specific person. But if you're looking to generate a list, which is really what this database is best for, always use advanced search. And with that, you can fully customize your search by criteria like home value, income, spending interests, geographic region. And once you pick the parameters of your search, you can view your results as a list, chart, or heat map. I always recommend using the geography search criteria. It's one of the strongest parts of this database because it lets you search by various kinds of geography. So you can search by zip code, you can search by metro area, you can search by county. So say you are doing business in Philadelphia, but you're also interested in targeting demographics in Southern New Jersey and Northern Delaware. You could add those zip codes or that counties. You could even just pick the Philadelphia metro area as a whole. You could also set a radius around a specific point. So if you have a brick and mortar shop and you're looking for the demographics of people within a mile of that, you can use that this database to do that. So this is a screenshot of what the results look like. When I say your results will come to you as a list, I really mean it. It is a list of names. I scribbled out the last names just because I felt a little silly putting people's whole business out there in this slideshow. But their last names are there. You do get like all the information about these people. And if you click on the record, you'll get a fuller picture. So you'll get the address that you see here, but you'll also get demographic information, spending interests, and home value as well. Estimated home value and estimated income. Some records are more complete than others, but you won't know until you click it. The only caveat is that if you select anything from the search criteria that is considered demographic information, so anything like race, religion, ethnicity, gender, Reference Solutions won't give you a list. That is to protect personal privacy to an extent, The consumer snapshots criteria, that's what the demographic criteria is called. It's all sensitive information. They don't want you to be able to create a list of people based on demographics. But you can still generate a heat map or a chart from that search criteria, and that could be helpful for identifying zip codes where your demographic is concentrated or something like that. You can also create a reference solutions account, which I recommend for anyone who is thinking about using reference solutions. Because if you make an account, you can save your searches. So you can set all the search criteria, save your search, and come back to it and see if anything has changed. This database updates really regularly. I believe it's once a week. So if you save your searches and you come back once a week, it might be different every week. You could also download your searches as Excel sheets. And there is also an app. This database has an app. I have it on my phone. I use it sometimes. It's like a party trick I whip out and show people their record on reference solutions. You can connect it to your library card, so you could use it for free on the go from wherever. And that's reference solutions, consumers and lifestyles, and new movers and homeowners. The difference between them, I don't think I mentioned it. It's kind of implied. New homeowners, new movers slash homeowners is a smaller version of consumers and lifestyles that is only pulling data from people who have moved within the last year. So if for whatever reason that is interesting to you, would be helpful for you, then you could check out that one as well. So the second database that we have for demographic information, demographic research rather, is called Simply Analytics. Simply Analytics is a data visualization tool with a map feature. And this one is providing really intense demographic and psychographic information. Psychographics are like demographics, except they encompass consumers' psychological characteristics. So interests, values, spending behaviors are included in that as well. So this database, Simply Analytics, includes demographics. So you're getting race, income, ethnicity, or those things. And you're also getting psychographics like buying behaviors, opinions, those sorts of things. There are over 200,000 data variables in this database. So much data is in this database. You can search for data sets by topic or by keyword. I like to do keyword searches. I really just type stuff into the search bar and see what kind of data sets come up. You could view data sets as a percentage or as a number. So say you want to identify a zip code with more than 20% cat owners, or the zip code with the most cat owners in the city. You could adjust the legend and select cat ownership data set, and you could see which zip code has the most cat owners. The data sets get really specific. You can do like how many people own more than 2 cats, more than 3 cats. Most of my examples have to do with cats. The map feature on Simply Analytics, you can kind of see it in the background of this screenshot. Truthfully, I should probably use a better screenshot for this presentation so you can actually see the full map. But regardless, it's a map of Philadelphia back there. The map will let you split things up by zip code, census tract. It goes down to block group, so it'll split it by individual blocks, so you can view your data on that small of a level. But the map feature is not the only feature that this database has. You could also view your data as a chart or a ranked list. You could also generate demographic reports based on census data that's been gathered. A lot of this information is coming from the census. A lot of it is coming from credit cards. A lot of it is coming from random surveys that people fill out. You could actually see where all of the data is coming from. When you pick a data set, it will tell you where the data has come from. You could also download your results. For the most part, every database I told you about allows you to save or download your results in some capacity. I recommend using this database, Simply Analytics, in tandem with the last one I told you about, Reference Solutions US Consumers. Simply analytics can be a little overwhelming if you don't know what you're looking for. But reference solutions is helpful for helping you get an idea of, say, a zip code that you want to know some more information about. You've identified 19148 as a place where you're interested in doing business because a lot of people who make so much money a year live there, and that's the demographic you're targeting. You can use Simply Analytics to get a really detailed picture of what the people in 19148 look like. So I'm going to reiterate this database high-level advanced web tool. I'm not saying that to scare you out of using it. I am saying it to actually do the opposite. Don't be afraid when you jump into this one if you're a little confused. I still get confused by it. Everybody is confused by this database. But it has a really, really robust support system, like on the website itself. And I'll tell you some other ways as we get further in how you can work with us to learn how to use the databases a bit better. But this one is like, I recommend people just sit down and play around with it. This one really is like a practice makes perfect kind of situation. And like I said, they have a really robust support system. They've got FAQs, video tutorials, and a live chat as well. So we've done demographic research and we've done market research. Now we're going to talk about our last main research area, which is competitive analysis. So a competitive analysis is determining your business's competitors, evaluating their strategies for running their business, their strengths and weaknesses, and comparing it to your own product or service and figuring out ways that you can make yourself stand out. So we have one main database for competitive analysis. It is reference solutions. We're going back to reference solutions, except this time we're not looking at consumers, we're looking at business data. So we're going to use, the main one you would use is going to be US businesses, but there is also US new businesses and US healthcare. So there's 3 databases within the reference solutions suite that are helpful for doing competitive analysis. It all depends on what kind of business you have, who your competitors are, but generally the US businesses database has the most information, is usually the most helpful. There are roughly 93 million businesses in all of these combined. And the great thing about reference solutions is that all of the databases within the reference solutions suite basically look the same. So once you know how to use one, you can use them all. Sometimes the search criteria changes a little bit, but generally speaking, it always looks the same. It's always generating a list. The only difference is with competitive analysis, you're generating a list of businesses instead of a list of people like we were doing with demographic research. So again, you're going to want to use that advanced search tool, never the quick search. So you can customize your search by industry. You can use NAICS codes. You could also search by keyword, geographic location, and other criteria such as sales volume, location square footage, number of employees, lots and lots of stuff that you can search by. And just like the last reference solutions database, you're going to get a list of results. So, but the difference is, this is going to be a list of businesses instead of a list of people. Clicking on a result is going to give you a more detailed record about a business, and it'll give you information on their sales volume. Sometimes they'll give you executive names, business expenditures. Each record is going to be a little different than the last. They don't always have the same amount of information. Some are just more fleshed out than others, depending on whether or not reference solutions could confirm the information or not. Quickly, I'll touch upon US new businesses as well. That one operates the same exact way as US businesses, except it's just businesses that have opened within the last year. So that could be helpful for competitive analysis if you're looking for businesses that are also new. And then the healthcare database is really helpful if you yourself are a healthcare business. So if you are, a doctor or something, and you're looking for doctors who do the same thing you do, your competitors, you could use that database to find them. Okay, so as we're nearing, we're not really nearing, we're like 2/3 of the way through. But we've talked about the 3 main kinds of research that we do. Now I'm going to talk about sales lists. Now, this is something that we have resources to help with. We're not necessarily helping people make decisions on their sales plan. We're not doing that at all. But we are offering these resources and support in using the resources that can help you compile your sales list yourself. We use reference solutions. Again, reference solutions really great for everything. We use reference solutions for compiling sales lists. We use it for both B2B, business to business, and B2C, business to consumer sales lists. It's just a matter of which database we use. So one thing that I really do want to convey about reference solutions, if you're not picking up on it already, it is a really flexible and customizable database. You make it work for you. There's 3 things that I told you about today you can use reference solutions for. So it really is it's a great place. If you're going to learn any database that I'm talking about today, reference solutions is where you want to go. Okay, so quickly, I'll talk about putting together a B2B or business to business sales list. For doing something like that, you're a business that is doing business with other businesses. You are going to want to use those 3 databases we just talked about for competitive analysis: US businesses, US new businesses, and US healthcare. We can use these 3 databases to produce potential sales leads based on industry, size, location, all those other data variables that I mentioned earlier. So like I said, B2B, specifically for businesses that are selling to other businesses. So for example, you are a commercial cleaning company, and you want to clean office buildings that are huge. So you can search for companies that are in office buildings that have like thousands of square feet. You could search by square footage. And that's a way that you could narrow down your potential sales list by looking for companies that are only in spaces that meet a certain square footage criteria that you decide on. You could also search for companies based on business expenditures. So say you have an accounting firm or an advertising firm, and you are looking for businesses that spend a lot of money on advertising, you can use the business expenditures search criteria to look for companies based on how much they're spending on something like that. You could also look for companies that aren't spending a lot because maybe they need to be. I don't know. That's for you to decide. You can also omit results from your reference solutions database search results. All the databases within reference solutions let you do that. So say you are just uninterested in going up to the far Northeast to do business. You're not trying to go up there. You can omit all of the zip codes in the Northeast from your search results. So you won't get any search results in Bustleton and Tacony and all the way up there. It doesn't have to be the Northeast. It can be anywhere in the city. It can be anywhere in the world, or the country rather. This doesn't go global. But you can omit things from your search results is the main takeaway there. Basically, generating a B2B sales list with reference solutions is the same process as doing a competitive analysis. The only difference is you're looking at businesses that you'd like to sell to, you'd like to do business with, instead of businesses that you're competing with. Now, to create a B2C or a business to consumer sales list, we're right back in reference solutions, and we're going to use the same databases we used for demographic research. So that's consumers/lifestyles and new movers/homeowners. So using these databases, you can produce sales leads based on variables that we've talked about: location, spending interests, how long they've been in their home, what their income is. And these sorts of sales leads are going to be helpful if you're a business selling to a consumer. So if you have a retail store, restaurant, something like that. Another helpful thing for a B2C sales list is this reference solutions function called heat map. Because when you're compiling a B2C sales list, you're going to see that you have a lot longer of a list than you would have with a B2B sales list. That's because there's way more people than there are businesses, right? So it can be helpful to identify a specific geographic area where your potential customers live instead of focusing on an entire city or even an entire zip code. Some zip codes are pretty big. One of the most helpful features for doing this is this heat map function. So here you can see I've got a screenshot from a heat map showing about 6,700 data points laid over a map of South Philly. So this is showing us a search result I did in US consumers and lifestyles. I did it, it's the zip code 19148, and estimated household income of over $100,000. So all those little blobs of color show areas where people are making an estimated $100,000 or more. As you zoom in, you could explore spots that are either bright or red. You could zoom in enough, and then each little blob will become an individual point. You can click the point, and it will bring up the record for that person. And that gives you all that information, demographics, address, more exact estimation of how much money they're making, those sorts of things. Having this geographic information about your sales demographic can be really helpful for target social media campaigns, things like that. If you want to do a postcard campaign, I don't know if people still do that, but that's something you could use this for. And you can really get it down to a very specific like neighborhood or even like a set of blocks that you want to focus on. Okay, so now we have talked about market research, demographic research, competitive analysis, and sales lists. The last thing that BRIC librarians really help with, I mean, we help with tons of stuff, but the last thing that I want to tell you about that we help with is just general business plan. So we have a lot of tools that help you write your business plan. Of course, we are not writing your business plan for you or really helping you with the content of it. We are just directing you to resources that can help you do it easily. And we're also helping you do the research aspect of your business plan. So one of the resources we have for business planning is called the Business Plan Handbook. It's available via the Gale eBooks database. Note Gale. Gale's everywhere. The Business Plan Handbook, it's a collection of full text, like actual business plans. So people submit their business plans to Gale, and Gale aggregates them into these handbooks. So these are real business plans that people have written and run a business off. You can basically find a business plan for like literally any industry. You could search within the entire collection. So say you have a cat sitting business. There is a cat sitter business plan in there. I don't know why, but there is. So if you were a cat sitter, you could search for your little cats, type your keyword in, and you can get a business plan example. Obviously, we're not copying the business plans, right? But you're using it as inspiration or just as an example of what your business plan could look like. Because just like every business is different, every business plan is going to be different. We also have a tool called the Gale is great. The Gale Small Business Builder. So this is an online tool. It's not really a database. It's more of like an interactive template. It offers a guided approach to writing a business plan, creating a pitch deck, and organizing your thoughts using the popular tool, the Business Model Canvas. The Gale Small Business Builder, it's essentially an in-depth interactive template. It's using, you're filling it out, but it will produce like a fully formatted, professional looking business plan for you from the information that you put into it. It guides you through each section of the business plan. And once you complete the template, it produces a little PDF for you. Okay, so we're going to start wrapping up. I did much better on time this time than I did last time. Last time I was really rushing through it, so we'll have time for questions at the end. But as we wrap up, I'm going to talk about some of the library's general online resources that are interesting to basically everyone, but would also be very helpful to business and entrepreneur people. I'm going to quickly go over them. There are things like continuing education classes, ebooks, audiobooks, all that good stuff. And to access all of our digital media, you go to freelibrary.org and you'll see our homepage right there. And you hit databases under the blue find box. And then from there, you hit the little pink and or purple button, depending on what you're looking for. You could also access them alphabetically through that whole list of databases. Basically, everything on the Free Libraries website, there's a million different ways to get to it. So you could get to it through those buttons. You could get to it. I'm sure there's 5 other ways you can get to it. But you stick to that one. I'll tell that's how I get to them. The first one I want to tell you about is called LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn, I'm sure many of you know what LinkedIn is. They have a online learning platform. It helps anyone with any background learn business, software, tech, creative skills, and achieve personal and professional goals. Some classes are standalones, some are multi-part like courses, and they can range from 10 minutes to hours, and you can do them at your own pace. Universal Class is very similar. It's a continuing education resource, very similar range of classes on tech, software, finance, business. Do them at your own pace, and they're taught by real life instructors in just like not, it's asynchronous. And both LinkedIn Learning and Universal Class will give you a certificate of completion when you're finished. For digital media highlights, I just included a few here. There's plenty more that you could go and explore on your own time. But we have Overdrive and its app counterpart, Libby. This is how patrons read ebooks, listen to audiobooks, and you can also read magazines digitally with Overdrive and Libby. You could access magazines like Forbes, Adweek, Inc., Philadelphia Business Journal. That one, you can access it, but differently. That's in our databases list. We also have the New York Times. You can get the New York Times from anywhere, as long as you go through the Free Libraries website to get to it. And we also subscribe to Press Reader. That has the Inquirer, that has the Economist, that has, I think, the Wall Street Journal. That's like more newspaper-based than magazines. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, that was a lot of information. Now what do I do? The first thing I recommend doing if you're ready to like learn more is to check out our YouTube library. So on our website, freelibrary.org/business, is a link to our YouTube library. Our YouTube library contains recordings from librarian-led classes that were taught in the past by my predecessor, not me. I don't have any videos on there. And these courses range from business planning, database demos, and classes on all of the types of business research that we just talked about. So you'll get a full hour and some change video of just demographic research. So that gives you a lot more information than what I was able to cover in this short overview. So if there is any type of research that you want to learn more about, or if you want to learn about all of them, I recommend checking out our YouTube library. And another thing that you're probably thinking, what do I do now? That's so much information. You can make a research appointment with me. I do one-on-one research appointments. They are for entrepreneurs or a currently operating business, or any folks who have attended a BRIC orientation, which is this. This is a BRIC orientation. So you attended this, you watched this presentation I gave, you are ready to go to an appointment if you want. In these appointments, we can discuss up to 2 topics, those topics being the kinds of research we talked about, business planning, sales lists. To request an appointment, you would fill out the form that is linked there, or the form is also on our website. And we can meet in person or Zoom, it's up to you. And we'll do database demonstrations, address any specific questions you have, and the goal is to really get you set up to continue your research journey on your own. The goal is to get you confident using the databases and just get you on the right track. Appointments are between 45 minutes to an hour, depending on your needs. So like I said, the link is there. It's also posted on our website. However, so some of y'all might be like, I'm gonna go make one right now. Pause. The form is right now not accepting responses. That will change very soon. I just had to pause it because I had a million that I had to catch up on. and they were coming in too fast, and I'm the only one doing the appointments. So I had to pause it. And you can check back sometime next week, hopefully, and it should be accepting appointments again, and you can make a request. And then, of course, I touched briefly upon the BRIC's physical space when I began the presentation, but the BRIC's physical space is one of our largest resources. We have meeting rooms that are available for 2 hours once per day for group meetings, Zoom calls, interviews, basically anything that has to do with our service areas, which are business, as well as job seeking, nonprofit professionals, and intellectual property. So anything that has to do with those four topics, service areas, you can use a room for. The form to request one is on our website. As of right now, our hours are 9 to 7, Monday through Friday. And then 9 to 5, no, 9 to 7, Monday through Wednesday, 9 to 5, Thursday and Friday. Parkway Central, the whole library is open on Saturdays. We're just not. Hopefully soon we'll have some more staff and we will be open on Saturdays. And lastly, we have research computers. We have 5 PCs that are available for public use. You just need a library card. They operate on a 2-hour time reservation. Most free library computers are only 1 hour, but because our computers are meant for doing research, the assumption is you're doing something that's a little bit more time consuming, takes more than an hour. So we give 2 hours for our computer reservations. And those are first come, first served basis. And lastly, our most popular program, we have a lot of programs. You can check those out on our website. But our most popular one that we do twice a month, every month, except for July, is free headshots. So we do free headshots on the first and third Thursday of every month, like I said, except for July. So we had one today, we'll have 2 more in June, and then no more in July, and then we'll pick back up in August. We have a professional photographer come. We pay this man, he does a wonderful job. He's been doing this for years for us. And he takes your headshot and sends it to us, and then we send it to you. Program is from 1 to 3. Appointments are made on a first come, first served basis. We recommend people get here close to when it's possible, just to make sure you get your name on the list. He takes his last appointment at 2:50. So for sure, making sure you're here before that. That is a picture of that's my screen, my headshot. That's why that's there. So you can see what the background looks like. It's pretty school photo-ish, but it's basic. And then if you really hated it, you could take a picture in front of the white wall. You would just move it out of the way and take a picture in front of the wall. And with that, I have reached the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for coming and sticking with me through all of that information. I knew I threw a lot of info at you at once in a very short amount of time. So please do not hesitate to reach out if any questions come up after we've finished here. You can email us at BRIC Free Library. You can give us a call. You can stop in and see if anyone's available to answer your question. We are on social media, although we haven't been super active lately. We had a Twitter and then Twitter died. So we don't really do that anymore, but we do have an Instagram. And we also have a newsletter. We send it out once a month. It's the best way to get up-to-date info on upcoming events, office hours, sign-up information, new books, new resources. And we also include a little section in there with funding opportunities. We don't help folks apply for funding opportunities, but we do just alert people that, like, hey, this is a grant opportunity that's going on in the city right now. Maybe you want to check it out. And with that, oh, and there's also the link there to check out our events calendar. We update it regularly. All of our reoccurring events as well as our one-off events are going to be in that calendar. And with that, I'm going to stop talking and open the floor for questions.
Okay, so we do have a few questions in the chat, and before I get to those, I posted a link in the chat to a survey about tonight's webinar. It is required by our funders. It literally takes less than a minute to complete, so if everyone could fill that out, Temple SBDC would be very grateful. Now to questions. Is research results from any of the big 3 available to be downloaded, either via Excel or Word, so we may save directly on our laptops/PCs?
By big 3, I'm going to assume you meant the market research, the 3 market research databases. because I think I saw when that question came in. And that was around when I was talking about those. Yes, Mergent Intellect lets you save as a PDF. And Dun and Bradstreet lets you save results as an Excel sheet. I don't believe that Gale lets you save anything, but truthfully, Mergent Intellect and Dun and Bradstreet are going to be more helpful to you than Gale for most things. Gale is good for some stuff. It's good for getting like trade publication articles. But for like market research, like data, D&B and Mergent Intellect have more, and they both let you save it to your computer.
Thank you. And speaking of Gale, someone just wanted to clarify what Gale is.
Yeah, sure. So Gale is basically it is an aggregator of encyclopedic knowledge. They provide a lot of library resources, so they kind of run a lot of databases and ebook repositories and things like that. They are basically a library company that other libraries subscribe to.
Okay, and I think this is the last question. Are educational entities such as colleges and universities included in one or more of the databases? If yes, any suggestions on where to begin?
That's a good question. So it depends, because a lot of universities and colleges are going to be nonprofits, in which case they might be in one of our nonprofit databases like GuideStar. And some of them are certainly in reference solutions, though. I have seen that data on colleges and universities in there before. I would say it's probably not exhaustive. You're probably not going to see all of them. But between reference solutions, GuideStar, which is basically like a database of nonprofits, Dun and Bradstreet might also have some information on specific universities and colleges.
Great, awesome. And with that, I think we are good to close out for the evening. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us. I hope everyone has a great Friday and weekend. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks everyone for coming.
Bye-bye.